All right, guys, welcome back to Yostbuilt. So, in the last few videos, the last couple weeks or so, you guys have noticed that in the background of all the videos, we keep clearing out space in Bay 3. We have our garage located on the lower acre of our property. Got our first lift over here, our Atlas, 10 foot tall. You know, we can fit the cars on it. We can do the transmissions, do everything real easy. So the big thing we have been waiting for. If you guys are friends with me on Facebook or Instagram, I made the post this morning. But if you guys are not, here is the video explaining exactly what we've been prepping the entire shop for. So we purchased a 224X LC Dynojet. This is basically the creme de la creme of dynos for two-wheel drive. This dyno also includes an eddy brake. If you guys have never seen a dyno not fully put together and wondered exactly what a dyno is or how it does what it's supposed to do, this video will explain a little bit, and it'll explain kind of why we bought this one instead of another type of dyno. So with this dyno from Dynojet, it includes the lift right here. It includes the dyno roller and dyno section, and it includes the eddy brake. And over there, all the extra stuff laying on the shelf. So let's start with the lift. This is a 4-post alignment style rotary lift. This thing can take 14,000 pounds and pick it up 8 feet in the air, 7 feet in the air. So we can do alignments and simple oil changes and stuff like that right on this lift. It also will be helpful for getting cars ready for the dyno, putting the O2 sensors on, hooking up the OBD2 scanner, and many other options that we have. The dyno itself is this big, beautiful 4,000 pounds of steel. This roller right here in the center, which is what you guys actually see the car tires set on, weighs approximately 3,000 pounds. If you guys have ever wondered what actually stops this big spinning roller, is this system right here. This is basically a semi-style brake. This is a max solenoid, just kind of like a boosted car would use, and a pressure regulator. The dyno basically tells it to open and close. It puts the brake pad right here and right here. These 4 metal plates are actually the front of the dyno, and that's what actually gives you the floor right here that you actually strap the car down onto. If it's a front wheel drive, you know, you strap it to the front. If it's a rear wheel drive, you strap it to the back. This is the eddy brake that I was talking about. The basic functions of an eddy brake are to simulate road conditions. It actually helps a lot with tuning when you're trying to basically get drivability perfect. You can get on the dyno, you can get drivability perfect. You can apply load. You can load the car down at whatever RPM you want. Apply, you know, basically you're kind of unlimited on how you can tune the car. So that is our basic explanation of our 224X LC Dynojet. I want to give a huge thank you to, of course, Dynojet, and you know, for getting us this thing so quickly. It's going to take a couple of days to set it up because, like I was saying, we need air for the eddy brake. I mean, air for the brake for the dyno. We need air for the locks for the lift. I didn't show you guys that. So this lift doesn't use the pull style locks. It actually uses air activated locks. So you can put your dyno down and you just click this over, and it'll actually unlock all 4 legs with air pressure. So we don't have to sit there and pull the cords and have 3 people or 2 people to undo the legs or none of that. You can literally do everything from standing right here without leaving the front edge of the dyno, get the car up on there, drive it up, and then pick the car up and put it where you need it. The power is up there in the ceiling. There's the other one that's going to come down here, and then there's the third one back there. You guys have already seen our Atlas lift, and if you guys are wondering all the other stuff that it takes to run a dyno, this is a very platinum edition of that. This is basically all of the things that you can buy from Dynojet to help with tuning aspect of a car on a dyno. So this is the stack box. This is basically the control unit. This is like the brain box. This is like the ECU of the car. This basically controls all the functions of the dyno. This is the same thing as this, but for the eddy brake. This is what applies the load, does all the power stuff. This is basically the module for the brakes. This module right here is for the air-fuel ratio that connects back into this and connects into this sensor or this sensor. So you have the options on this to actually hook up two sensors. So technically, if you think about an exhaust system, you know, you have your headers here, you have your full exhaust. Well, most cars you have a cat, a resonator, a muffler. A lot of dyno tuning is done with just a O2 sensor in the header or the downpipe, or a one in the exhaust. Well, if you have any type of exhaust leak, or you only use this sensor, you don't know, exactly what your air fuels are back here. So you could have the car super, dialed in back here, and the exhaust could be a big restriction or no restriction, and the rear O2 could be way off. It could give you some strange reading. So you can dial the car in very well with this style setup because you can use both O2s. These are all the cables to connect the dyno to the power module. This is the actual controller. If you guys watch dyno videos and you see the tuner sitting in the car and you see him pressing all the buttons, this is what he's pressing on. This is just the new version. This is the version 8. All the dynos that I've ever worked on or worked with have been version 7s. So I'm like super excited about working on the version 8. This right here is a grounding kit. You should always ground the car, especially when you're working electronics, aka computers or tuning. This is one of the books to hook everything up. Here's 2 more envelopes about hooking everything up, and then there's another book over there about setting everything up. So when we got this, and like I said, it was fully optioned, there's many things that come with this dyno. So you have 2 separate air sensors right here, which you can plug into a vacuum source under the hood. This one will go from, I think it's negative 14.7 to 45 psi. So this is for like, a basic turbo car or something like that. That's not too crazy. And then this sensor will actually read all the way up to 100 psi. So if you're talking about some crazy compound turbo diesel and we want to get an accurate boost reading, boom, we can read all the way up to 100 psi. This kit right here is, as you can tell, a OBD2 plug-in. What this allows you to do is you can plug the OBD2 port into this box, and the dyno can know exactly what every sensor on the car is doing. The reason we would want that is because, say we have a customer that comes here and wants to get their car dyno tuned, and their tuner is in California, and they're local to us here in Pennsylvania. Well, we can put their car on our dyno, load up the computer, put the computer on TeamViewer, so their tuner can live into the computer, and their tuner can sit there with the car and the OBD2 port plugged in and see every sensor on the car and know exactly what's going on at every point. And he can data log that and do whatever he needs to do to tune the car. Of course, I'll personally have to be the one driving the car on the dyno, but he can sit there and literally do anything he needs to do to dyno the car. You just got to tell me, boom, do a pull, do this, watch for this, yada, yada, yada. So, of course, I'll be part of that and, the rental of the dyno. But it basically gives you unlimited function on tuning a car remotely because we can see everything that's possibly happening with the car. And if I see anything that's out of normal, I can let off right away and, tell the tuner, hey, look, the car went lean or this happened. Or we can set fail safes on the dyno so the dyno will actually kind of blinkers, something will show us on the computer that something is happening. Because, of course, the last thing you want to do is blow up a customer's car on the dyno. Even though we aren't personally tuning it, they're just using our dyno to tune it. But to stop a tuner from doing it with, doing it electronically over the internet, if there's any issues. It's just a big tool. Like I said, a dyno is a tool. Everyone always gets caught up on dyno numbers. And I'll be the first one to tell you, I've seen thousands of cars on the dyno. It's one of my favorite things to do. Dynoing a car is, I don't know, it's kind of like some people get an adrenaline rush from racing and stuff like that. I get that from the dyno. If I see a car come in and they tell me their exact setup, I can usually guess within 10, 15 horsepower. If I've seen similar setups before, I sometimes can dead on guess it because I've seen that setup before and I kind of know what it should make. So this tool in our garage is going to be amazing. I hope you guys are ready for all the crazy content. Some of the parts for the DA came in. The ECU for the green car came in. So once we have all of this set up and everything's ready, I personally want to learn a lot more on the tuning aspect of everything. I already know a large amount, but nobody knows everything. All tuners will always tell you that they're always learning, and that is so true because something new is coming out, something, you know, something's changing, more boost levels, more compression. There's so many things. And as you guys can tell on this channel, I like the builds, I like everything. But the tuning aspect has always been something that has caught my eye, of something that I like to learn. Now, will I personally tune other people's cars? Probably not in the foreseeable future, but maybe down the road. You know, who knows? Who knows what's in store for Yostbuilt? But this tool right here will be something to use, something we can have dyno days, we can have barbecues, we can do all kinds of things with having a dyno. So leave down in the comments below what you think about our Dynojet 224X LC. If you guys are interested or, you know, thinking about e-tuning and know a tuner that would be, you know, able to do it, let us know in the comments below. As always, you're greatest. I hope you guys enjoy, and I hope you guys are ready for the crazy content to come. I'm still mind blown that we have a dyno in our shop. So until the next one, as always, give us a thumbs up, give us a share, and tell your friends. Yostbuilt has a dyno now.